Hello children, my name is Teacher Patricia. I'm going to teach you English. Now today we are going to learn about components of a good composition writing. Now in our day-to-day life, as we have been handling things, we know that for us to do something well, we need to learn the factors and the components so that we achieve what we are doing. Now, similarly, in the same way, writing a good composition needs us to understand the components and also the factors so that we can produce a very good composition as we write. Now, we have 6 components, or rather the factors, to consider for us to write a good composition. And these are: 1, we have the theme. Now, theme is also called topic. And 2, we have conflict. 3, we have mood. 4, we have the tense. 5, we have the suspense. And finally, 6, we have color. Now, we are going to go through these components each shortly so that we get to understand. Now, first of all, let us look at theme. Now, theme is the topic and is also the subject of the story. Now, in simple terms, we'll talk about it and we will say that is the storyline of the story. Now, for instance, we can say if we are writing about Praise Giving Day, then you are supposed to evolve around the topic for you to write a good composition. From the start to the end, you are supposed to stick to the topic. In those plots that you are writing, a plot is a series of events in that story. Make sure that you attach yourself to the theme that we are writing about. Now, number 2, we are going to look at the conflict. Conflict, we can refer to it as a problem in that story that you're writing. Now, as you know that in writing a composition, we have different characters in that story, and we also have the main character. Now, the main character is given a problem, or let's say maybe a situation, and after going through that kind of situation, the character is going to overcome that problem. Now, that one makes the story look so interesting, and the writer is going to achieve something after the character has overcome. We are also going to look at the mood of the story, and we can define the mood as the state of a feeling of somebody, or we can say the emotions of different characters in the composition. Just as I had already said, writing a composition will have different characters, and in this case, each character will have the emotions to put across. Now, the main character, or the person who is writing the composition, will have to show different moods. It can be sad, it can be happy, you can be excited, it can be worried, you know. They keep on changing. It is uncommon for someone to stay happy from morning to evening. And in the same way, it is also difficult for someone to be sad a whole day. So, moods keeps on changing. Now, we are also going to look at the tense. I will say the tense is the most important component in writing a good composition, because now, let's say it's the backbone. Now, Tenses are formed from the verbs. And we have been learning verbs, and we know that verbs are doing words. Now, tense is an aspect of time in a composition. It shows the time that events happened. When we are talking of something that has already happened, we will use the past tense. When we are talking of something that is happening, we'll use the present tense. And when we are concluding and saying something that will happen next, we will use the future tense. Next, we will look at the suspense. And the suspense is a very good skill in writing a good composition. And we will say that it is a skill whereby you will not say everything. You will omit, or maybe you will deny the reader the conclusion of the story, so that the reader may continue getting the story and having that, being eager to know what is going to happen next. So the person can use the rhetoric questions just to prompt the reader to just try and guess what is going to happen. And those rhetoric questions, those are questions that are not answered. So the person will keep on reading the story as the story flows down to the end, wanting to know what is going to happen to the end. Now, finally, we are going to look at the color. Now, just like the way we do our cooking in the house, and we use the spices to make the food taste very nice, make it delicious, and make it sweet. We also have some of the things that we are supposed to put in place for the composition to look very nice and be very interesting. Now, these things that we are supposed to use, first of all, we are supposed to use all the 8 parts of speech and also use the collective nouns. We are supposed also to use the sound of objects and also sound of animals. We are supposed to use the similes. We also supposed to use the idiomatic expressions and also the proverbs. We have many other items of merit that we are supposed to put in place for us to achieve a very good composition. And I know up to that end, we are able to try and write a good composition. Let us write a good composition, shall we? Thank you.